This video is sponsored by the Crystal Punk Kickstarter. Crystal Punk is a brand new 5e setting that basically combines dark fantasy and cyberpunk in order to create a unique world full of cultist corporations, evil gods, magic-fueled technology, and of course, all of those edgy tropes that get your inner middle schooler heart pumping with glee. Backing the project will earn you a PDF or hardcover that will come with tons of new races, subclasses, magic tech equipment, spells, and a unique class for the setting called the Evolutionist. But hey, don't take my word for it. Crystal Punk is so confident that you'll love their setting that they have the Evolutionist class, a short story, and several test kits available on their Kickstarter. Click the link in the description below and pledge today. It really helps us out when you support our sponsors, and thank you, and on to the video. Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and a lot of you guys are probably familiar with my Pokemon D&D campaign. For the last 4 years or so, I've been running a campaign on this channel with a few of my friends called Pokemon Utopus Region, and when we reached Season 2, we called it Pokemon Road to Victory. Over the course of those 4 years, I have learned a ton of tricks and tips to make the campaign better, and today I plan to share them all with you. But I won't be doing it alone. Today, we have a special guest.
Howdy, how's it going? My name's Davvy Chappy, and over on my channel, I create tutorials and guides to help you be the best D&D player you can be. And after you're done watching this video, be sure to head over to my channel, where we cover the basics of what you need to know about this system. From what you need in order to start playing, what makes Pokemon Tabletop unique, and what are some of the best tools that you can use in your game.
In this video, we're going over what you need in order to run a successful Pokemon campaign. This video is going to be less number crunchy and rules heavy, and more of a best practices guide. In this video, we discuss building a region that complements D&D-like mechanics, filling that region with NPCs that will incentivize storytelling, and writing an adventure that gives everyone a spot to shine. We'll also go ahead and throw in some quick tips and tricks that I think you guys will really appreciate, along with some fun anecdotes and times to let you know that, yeah, sometimes you can break your own rules.
One of the trickiest things that you need to get over as a GM when creating any sort of setting into a tabletop system is how to capture the soul and the feel of what you're adapting. It's the reason why we've only had, like, 2 good video game movies ever. Adapting a property from a single-player experience into a multiplayer cooperative game isn't easy, and if you want to play in a traditional Pokemon setting, then this is the first hurdle that you're going to have to get over. In this video, we're going to assume that you are wanting to build the traditional Pokemon setting, the whole do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do type of Pokemon journey. You're a group of professional trainers that are on their way to the Pokemon League, where you want to be the very best like no one ever was. If you want to play an alternate style campaign like Mystery Dungeon, you can still do that, but you're going to encounter similar hurdles.
First of all, you're going to want to examine the region itself. You can base your setting on a pre-established region like Sinnoh, Alola, or Kanto for the 100th time, or you can do what most DMs do and make your own region. Since I already have all the assets already available, I'm going to use my own setting called Utopus. When designing your region, you're going to want to base it around a theme or an idea. I named each of my towns from various forms of government, and I made sure to give each of them their own personality. For example, Aristocrat Harbor is a town that is occupied by a bunch of rich, snooty people and has an elite Pokemon Academy, while Wild Colony is a small desert outpost with only a few resources available. You don't need to world build super hard super early, but I suggest at least having a few towns planned out in your head before starting.
Next, you'll want to design a Pokemon League around team battles. Pokemon as a game has always been a single-player adventure, but as a GM, you have to keep in mind that there are often 4 to 6 other people at the table. Oftentimes, the most hyped part of a Pokemon game is getting to the next town and fighting an exciting boss battle, but nothing will take the fun out of your campaign by telling them that they now have to line up and wait in a queue. Players are already impatient enough, and if you do this, dice towers will be built, doodles will be drawn, and your players will start playing Dark Souls in the middle of combat. Also, just as a general rule, you should have the Pokemon League pretty much match the anime. It's a sporting event and a tournament, plus that means you get to have a good old anime-style tournament arc.
And that's all well and good, but once you build these towns and gym challenges, you're going to want to have other NPC to fill them. There are dozens and dozens of videos out there explaining how to make good NPCs and good characters,
including my own! Check it out over on davvychappy.com.
But another problem you might want to start solving is, how are your players going to make money? Remember how we mentioned certain things will need to change from the games to the tabletop setting? Well, in the video games, you make money by beating other trainers, which has tons of memes and jokes throughout the years of either mugging children or child gambling. I feel that this is an easy fix. For my own campaign, I have come up with a sponsorship system. In the setting that we have mentioned, the trainers are basically pro athletes, and as any athlete will tell you, just throwing a ball around doesn't bring in the cash. You need someone to pay you. The way I did this was that in every town there were businesses available that trainers can go and ask for sponsorships. The bigger the business, the more money they can earn, and this kills a ton of birds with a single stone.
1. It prevents your players from messing up their world. If they're being dicks or murder hobos, then you can have the business just say, "We're not sponsoring jerks." 2, it encourages exploration in the towns. You got that amazing chef NPC that you want the players to talk to? Well, if they go talk to him, maybe they can form a business partnership. 3, it gives the GM plenty of reasons to make side quests. Maybe that chef NPC isn't interested in sponsoring the trainers, but if you bring them a Psyduck that he can look at, maybe he'll give you some meals and kill your Psyduck, is what that is insinuating. And then sponsor your team! It's also recommended to keep track of the good deeds that your players do. Yes, this means both the GM and the players taking notes. Sorry, it comes with the territory. Did your players save the town from a horde of Tauros? You should reward them and let their reputation give them business opportunities. Everything that you do as a GM should let your players know that their impact matters, and that since this is the modern world where cameras and recording equipment is everywhere, there's a good chance that people will start to notice good or bad behavior. Here's a quick system that you can use if you want to quickly gauge what you can offer your players in terms of cash benefits from sponsors and fame.
And finally, you're going to want to build a setting that gives all of your players opportunities to shine. As a GM, you basically act as an amateur game designer as well as a storyteller. But if you want some quick and dirty tips, even though Pokemon Tabletop has a few dozen classes, it pretty much breaks down into the 3 archetypes. League legal classes, say that 3 times fast, social classes, and street fighting classes. The League legal classes are pretty much ace trainers or those characters who are just real good at maximizing the efficiency of their Pokemon in ways that would be legal to a Pokemon League. Now, the PTU rulebook doesn't have any distinction between league legal and illegal, but if you want a good rule of thumb, if the trainer uses anything except their voice or commands in a fight, it's likely that it's not tournament legal. Battle Bond might be the exception, though.
Social classes are the trainers who specialize in getting people to do what they want through clever wordplay, intimidation, and being me. Sorry, that says being hot. And being hot. And if you are considered hot in the Pokemon world, where literally every human is attractive, good for you, man. If you find players that are built around social events, be sure to have plenty of opportunities for them to flex that skill. If you're already experienced at doing this in regular D&D, then you should be fine here. I have several videos, in fact, that can help you with the RP aspect if you need it. Here's a playlist.
And then there's classes that I call street fighting classes. Those are your capture specialists, martial artists, and psychics that join the fight with their Pokemon and kick just as much ass. I personally recommend coming up with either some criminal organization for them to fight, like Team Rocket, or just some simple bad guys that they can beat up. Having lots of wild Pokemon encounters are good for this as well. As a GM, you're going to want to create encounters that validate your players' class choices. Also, just to get the other good Pokemon cliches out there, I also recommend having a rival team for them to fight, bug catching contests, fishing contests, contests. Just be sure to find opportunities for lots of fun side quests or missions that will give each player something to do. Also, just a pro tip, if they don't want to do a side quest, allow them the opportunity to miss it. Hell, honestly, just having missable quests is a good idea to keep the story moving in general.
Which is a pretty good way to lead into the casual best practices section of the video. Best practice tip number 1, keep it light and fun. You can have dark drama, but you'll really want to make sure that it feels like the games.
2. Pokemon is always best when it's a human drama in a magical world. Ash was almost always more fun when we wondered if he would make it into the Pokemon League, rather than if he would save the world.
Make sure that your players are the most important people in that setting. It might be fun to have red or blue cameo, but don't let that distract you from the fact that this is your player's story.
Don't include a ton of legendaries. For your own sanity, just don't.
Number 5, don't ask where the meat comes from. That burger probably came from a Tauros, just don't think about it.
6, capture specialists are the most powerful trainers on the board. Seriously, don't let their numbers creep up on you. One dice roll can swing an entire battle.
Number 7, you might want to vary the intelligence of certain Pokemon. Some should be monsters, and some should be people.
Ban breeders.
Why, are they too strong or something?
Not really, they're just most effective when they aren't moving. Seriously, a breeder that knows what they're doing will sit for months of in-game time and leave once they have an army of Wunderkin and completely halt your story.
Well, I know that the best piece of advice we could give them is to head on over to my channel, Davvy Chappy, and check out the video that we made discussing the rules and mechanics of PTU. But yeah, Davvy out.